How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks. We focus on one thing: always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about BBIG, which was down almost 5% on the day. If you guys remember what I said in my previous videos as far as my predictions to the downside, it has been coming through. My apologies, I was unable to get a video for you guys out earlier. I had some things I had to take care of, but I got to give you the most recent update. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for BBIG. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $1.97, being down 4.83%. On the low, it tested $1.90, and then on the high, testing $2.04. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 16.971 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 15.43 million shares. So we had above average volume, and you could also see we had a pullback in the stock. When we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 39.71. And then when we take a look at our moving averages, we are below the 200-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So it's clear to see that BBIG is in a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. So if you guys remember what I was saying in my previous video, I was saying don't be surprised if we test a low around $1.92. We tested a low today at $1.90. So we need buyers to start stepping in around this level. If they do not, that's where we can have a pullback going to around 160. And this could be very doable, especially if we continue to see a pullback in the market. Now, what you want to see as far as for that reversal, you want to see it get to the 21-day EMA at $2.16. The last thing that we need is $2 becoming a psychological area, so please keep that in mind. Once we can reclaim 216, I want to see that move going to the 50-day moving average. And the reason why it's very important for it to reach this level, every single time we get to that 21-day EMA, we end up being rejected. So that rejection is also going to lead to downside, and that's what we have been experiencing. So that is why if we make this move up, the 50-day moving average is an area that we really need to get to. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for BBIG. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So you can see here we don't have any new or closed filings as of late. We just have some changes that have been made. So as far as for Direxion low price stock ETF, you could see that they increased their position by 45.61% from the value change. And then as you can see, the following institutions here from the 28th all the way to the 27th have been reducing their positions. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off exchange short volume ratio is at 48.43%. And then for the off exchange short volume, it is just over 2.80 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 0, updated 23 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 227.56%. And then when we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 27th, it is at 62.02. And then for the close of the 28th, going down quite a bit, being at 48.43. But that short borrow fee, that's what we want to see. And then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 20.59%, BBIG does continue to have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for BBIG. So we see on the inflow, it was at 5.46 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 6.36 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 1.46 million. On the medium, it was 2.51 million, and then on the small, it was 1.49 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 1.38 million. On the medium, it was 3.31 million, and then on the small, it was 1.67 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for June the 29th, we had an inflow of 0.08 million. And then you can see for the 28th, we had an outflow of 0.46 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, you can see that we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then for the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, you can see we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 7.32%. And this is not too bad for a stock like BBIG. We know that it is fairly volatile. We also know there's been a good amount of selling pressure inside of the markets. So let's get into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details. So for my final thoughts for BBIG, when it comes to the price action, we ended up seeing a high at $2.04 and we saw a low at $1.90. And like I've said in my previous videos, don't be surprised if we test support around $1.92. And look where we're at. We tested at 190. So what happens if we break through this level? The next levels you want to keep an eye on is around $1.78 and as well as $1.60. So please add that to your homework. As far as for the upside is concerned, if you want to see strength out of this play, it needs to get to the 21-day EMA, which is at $2.16. But keep in mind, every single time we get to this level, we end up getting rejected and we have selling pressure. So it's very important that when we get back to the 21-day EMA, we have the bull stepping in and we can send it up to the 50-day moving average, which is around $2.40. BBIG getting to this level shows a lot of strength. So keep that in mind. And knowing that we had resistance right at $2.04, of course, you need to have a breakout there. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, you can see that a lot of institutions have been cutting down on their positions, with one institution that was increasing their position. And then when we took a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. Plus, on top of that, we have the short ball free rate that is back above 200%. So that is a really good sign for the stock. But knowing that it's pulled back quite a bit, I could see shorts wanting to cover on their positions. I think that would be the smartest thing to do. But in my personal opinion, if you are a trader and you have a strategy, there have been many opportunities to take advantage of the volatility in the stock, especially when I'm giving you guys these levels to the upside and as well as for the downside. But in the near term, just taking a look at the technicals, it is forming lower lows and as well as lower highs consistently. So we need to see that turnaround. So will it come sometime this week? Maybe, but at least you guys have a good idea of what it looks like as far as going into Friday. So look for that move to the upside if the markets are strong, and if the markets continue to show some weakness, then I just see some more downside pressure. So that's pretty much I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how BBIG performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.